All right, let's do. We're in the Northshore tournament, and we're in the qualifying round. Let's take care of some. Let's clean the desktop off here real quick. Get some stuff. I think I got my club card trading I can do. See what it picks today. B52 or Horizon. Neither one of those cards have any interest to me. Not worth putting points into, putting cards into. North Shore tournament. Enter the tournament. Day 2 of qualifying. Here we go. Let's go to play hole number 1. Let's go check it out first. Let's look at the holes before we jump in. We'll go slow. Here we go. Maple Bay, hole number 1. Hole number 1. Now, I messed up on my second shot here. I didn't hit it perfect, but this is definitely a makeable par 4. I'm going to use an extra mile and we can use a bobble ball here or a turkey ball. Some low wind. Side spin's not the big issue. 2 powers, 1 side spin, 5 wind resistance. Let me get my trusty dusty calculator out. And what the heck? Let's turn on the grid. Let's make it. Let's do the full meal deal here. So we got our ball selected. We got the right bag, and we're ready to roll. It looks like I'm doing like a half a backspin. Two power ball, plus 20% to the cup. Hornet, 1.4 per ring, so I must be a mid club. I'm doing a half a backspin on the drive. See what kind of wind we get. Of course, we're getting due headwind. Now you can try and get over. And I'm all for trying to get over places and trying to get over stuff, but an overpower shot in this type of area, there's that blue shed out there, and that stuff's out of bounds. That's no bueno. I'm not interested in messing around with that stuff. When you're in one of those shots where if you mess up and you don't make the shot, you're in the rough, you can recover. That's a different story. But this particular area is no good, yeah, man. Okay, I'm gonna have to put a little bit of topspin just to get over to the other side. Like 1 topspin. .7. I'm going to pull it back to the red line and see where I'm at. So I'm about a quarter ring into power. I'm just going to rub against the nubs. Hit it 1 ring great to the right. And that area right there should put me right towards my mid club. It's a little bit, in the past I've hit a little bit farther forward. I'm trying to shorten my shot up just a little bit because I've been in that spot where I'm in between mid and max club. And so by laying it up just a little bit further back, I'm right dead center at mid. We'll see if that's the right spot. Ooh, close. Oh, nice shot. Nice shot. All right, chip in to win. Let's make sure we're in the right spot. There's mid, minimum. There's max. So I'm right at mid club. So it's 2.2 times 1.2 equals divided by 1.4. 1.9 rings. I'm going to put on just a little bit of backspin. .9 rings. It's 1.9. I'm gonna have to snap it. Oh, I missed it to the right. Just a bit outside. I missed it to the left yesterday. Perfect's right there in the middle. Gotta save some for the opening round. Don't want to be greedy. Put the ball to draw. I was late there. I had to figure. I didn't have my calculator ready. What a freaking rookie! I didn't have my calculator ready. I had all the stuff in front of me. I should have had all that, so I could have just plugged in the number and did the win and been done with it. What was I thinking? All right, hole number 2. Hey, do not show again. I got you. Hole number 2 is Northshore's Maple Bay, hole number 2. All right, I want to get down into this spot just a little farther than I did yesterday. So I had to press the issue, I think, on this. So I'm going to use a rock and a kingmaker. I'm going to set it up at the +3. I got a whole bunch of stuff written down on this. I'll have to look at my notes as I'm setting it up. Taking a rock and a sniper. I'm taking a kingmaker. It's not the king of balls, but it's close. It just cuts the wind down and gives us more curl. I mean, that's it. I mean, that's all. Who's counting? Here we go. All right, I'm pulling it back to the +3. 2 2/3 rings off. 3 1/4 topspin. 3 1/2 topspin. Plus 10% on the drive. See if my opponent can get up there. Now, the navigator doesn't hurt you on the first shot, where it can hamper you on what shot you're taking is on the second shot. I'm not a fan of setting myself up that close to the transitional between the rough and the fairway. That transitional area there, there's no reason why you have to set yourself up that close to it. Hitting it perfect. Perfect. Getting down there nicely. I want to get a little farther. I don't want to get all the way to the tip. I want to get a little farther than that. Okay, I'm pulling back to the +3. 2 2/3 rings off. And I am 3 1/2 topspin. Plus 10%, so it's going to be about a 4-ring pool. A little shy of 4. Let's try and hit it perfect. Hitting it perfect. El perfecto. Let's see how close I can wheedle my way down towards the end. That's about as close as I need to get. See what that angle gives me. It's about as far down in there as I'm willing to roll. So I'm doing, the last time I took the shot I had a headwind, and I did a plus 15% on the second shot. And we'll see with the tailwind if that holds up. And I should be at max club. See if my opponent gets to where they want to get. Hit it perfect. L. Perfecto. Perfect. All right, let's see what the wind is. I'll do the wind first. 2.6. So it's right at 2.99 rings, so it's at 3 rings, and my sniper does not have enough distance to get up there. So I'm going to have to bring a guardian if I want to get over to the other side, or I'm going to have to bring a bigger ball. I mean, there's just no two ways around it. So I'm going to do 3 rings. There's 1, 2, 3 rings. See where we end up. Hitting it perfect. See if we can get that second bounce. This is the in the rough. Just a bit outside. Did not pull quite enough for the wind at 15%. A 20% would have been better. Make a change on my notes. Try and progress as the week goes on. Try and get it tighter and tighter. I got more on my notes now because I got to keep track of headwind and tailwind. See if my opponent can get in the hole. All right, that was hole number 2. We got some great opportunities for picking shots up. There's a lot of these holes where we can snag one. Somebody gets on a run, they can get a couple holes that a lot of people aren't picking up. That's a dangerous shot doing the second bounce rough bump. But I think the only way to get over to the other side is either bring out a bigger club, and I don't even know, like I was about as far down into that hole as I would want to get, and that was favorable wind. So I'm down in this area right here, and my red line was like right in this area with a sniper. So I think a sniper's 172. What's a big dog? Like 185. So we've got 13 yards of distance. The question is that 13 yards? But if we got on this hole and we had any kind of headwind, we'd have to have a bigger ball in order to get to that spot. Otherwise, we're going to be bouncing over. All right, that's hole number 2. All right. Hole number 3. Well, I was already there, so let's go to hole number 3. This par 3 right here. I think we have a great opportunity on this par 3. What I found yesterday on this hole was I did a one. I'm at mid club, so it's 1.1 per ring, and I was doing a 10% wind adjustment, and the 1.1 and the 10% wind adjustment balanced each other out, and it was just the wind. But I needed to make an adjustment, so I upped it. So I'm going to do the mid club at 1.1, and I'm going to do a 20% wind adjustment. And I'm taking a navigator. Let's make sure we got the right ball picked. Save a second. 1 power, low wind. Grizzly will work. That's all we need. Hole number 3. See if we can get a hole in one right here. Getting matched up quick. I like that. In the practice round, geez, trying to get a match was like pulling fingernails. 1.2 times the wind divided by 1.1 per ring. This one's going to be a little problematic. It will get cut down a little bit because they're using a white bulb, so I'm going to get a little bit lower wind. See where my opponent ends up. I'll probably end up in the hole. It's kind of an eyeball adjustment. They made all the right moves, but they didn't get, I'm not sure how they did that adjustment. Okay, so I'm at mid club. Going right to the cup, so it's 4.5 equals 5.4 divided by 1.1. It's 4.9 rings. I think that was a slight overpull. Hitting it perfect. I think I slightly overpulled it. Not quite enough distance against that headwind. And I meant to move, I was trying to move the whole screen, and I moved the ring set because I was trying to take the 0.1 off and then pull it back to the very center. And I think I moved the ring set. So I ended up just moving it the whole 5 instead of 4.9. In the hole. I'll have to go back and look at that hole and see what I did. I can't even remember which way the wind was. Maybe I overpulled it. I can't remember. This is one more reason why it's so important to record your own gameplay. You can go back and see what you did on stuff like that. All right, hole number 4. Hole number 4. Da 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 da. All right, I am going for this spot, and I'll just have to bring out the right ball. So if it's a power 3, if we have a slight headwind, like a side headwind, I can bring out a kingmaker. If we have a tailwind, I can bring out a titan. If I have to bring out a 4 or 5 power ball, I think for 4 power balls, I've got a lot of those opens. They'll cut the wind down a lot, but they do give me some power. And I can always use a berserker if I need a 5 power ball. And the extra mile gets me over there with more than enough. But if I do have a big headwind, I could switch to the Apocalypse. Let's switch at least to a Titan. The King of Balls. If we can get over there with a Titan, we want to use a Titan, because once we get, if we can get over to the other side, we're over to the other side. It doesn't, at that point, it doesn't matter. But if the wind's unfavorable, then we'll have to bring out whatever's appropriate. We got almost a due headwind. So I think it's going to take at least a 4 power ball. My wind's going to be a little bit less than theirs because they've only got a 1 wind. Hitting it great to the right. That's not an uncommon spot for people to be in. That's That's actually not a bad spot to be in. I mean, 4 is way back there. Four, 1. Just going to go for it. You hit it perfect. Hit it 1 ring great to the left. And there is no room to the left. It's going to end up in the sand. Boom! Right in the sand. I like my odds from here, though. I like my odds of making this shot. There is a great rough bump that you can do from this side over here. But as close as I am, it really boils down to perfect. If I hit that sand wedge perfect, it's in the hole. But with the shot that you take from out here, even if you hit it perfect, because of the distance and the wind adjustment, even if you hit it perfect, it may or may not go in the hole. But there is a great rough bump from out there. That will go in the hole if you make the right adjustment. Close. And it was that close with a marlin. So you don't have to bring anything special on this hole to get it done. But we're going to need to get it done right here. See if we can hit this perfect. Not even close. Not even close. That's how to do it, though. That is the side over there. I really wish that I wouldn't have had any headwind. Because I didn't really want to bring out a 4 power ball. With a 3 power ball, I think even with a 3 power ball, you might... The way that it bounces out of that rough from the distance that you're coming... It doesn't seem like that headwind worked as much as it should have from where I ended up. 3 power ball might have worked there. Should have traded. All right, that was hole number 4. Hole number 5. Let's check it out. Hole number 5. Okay, yesterday... Now, this is another one of those holes that I think a bigger ball is the deal. So, yesterday, so in the past, I've hit down here, tried to get in front of this so you have a straight up shot. And you got to get way down in there. And if the wind's blowing the wrong way, that could be difficult. So, yesterday, what I did was I started off over here. My opponent started off on this side and got up to about right here. I started off over here, extra mile. My red line was somewhere like in this area. If I brought out a bigger ball, I could start off on this fairway, and I might actually be able to just get over here. Then you can do whatever you want. But from where I was at, and I was up in the front with a 3 power ball, the way the wind was blowing like this, and my red line was like right in this area. I could have still done the rough bump and just laid myself up safe and went over, way over, so that I could adjust the wind out, but I pressed the issue and ended up in the rough behind it. I'm gonna see if a bigger ball gets me over here. Like, let's see what the wind is. Let's see what our possibilities are. I'll bring that power 4 ball again. We'll see if a power 4 ball can get us over there, and if it can't, and I think that really is the bag that I really want to try and get far enough up there to get. But where I was at with my sniper, And you really got to get some distance. This bag right here, change that back to a big topper. A big topper would get me on the drive because I wasn't at max extra mile. And the big topper's got more topspin. So if you're trying to bring the ball over like that, the big topper might not be a bad choice. And I like my big topper. I'll start off with an extra mile and we'll see what a big power 4 ball can do. See if it'll get me over to the other fairway. I can always switch to a Titan and just, in a worst case scenario, I can just hit it forward. I haven't hit it forward in a long time. So I know hitting it forward, a Guardian, I think is better than a sniper, but I'm not sure. Of course I go first. Come on. That wind's not bad for us. .5. And I actually want to take that wind out. 2.5. Hit it like 2 rings straight to the right. We'll see if I put enough curl in there to make up for the 2 rings straight to the right. If it bounces right there, I definitely got the distance because I was in the other fairway yesterday and didn't have quite enough distance. So now I probably will be in my long iron range. And I have no idea if we're supposed to do a wind adjustment here. I got limited notes on this. Power 4 ball. My opponent's in the same zone. Yes, sir. Grizzly. Where am I at in my club? There's Max. There's Min. There's Mid. And I'm eking towards Mid. The Mid's 1.1 per ring. I can get right down on them. 1.1. I'm going to do a 3 ring pull. Or excuse me, a 3 mile per hour pull. So there's 2.2, 2.8, a 3 ring pull. Or 3 miles per hour, excuse me. Keep getting that wrong. Was a little teeny bit back in that. I'll be able to go back and watch that. That's the first time I've been up in that zone. So that rough bump right there is definitely, and my opponent ended up in the, I'll have to go back and watch to see how my opponent got up there with a katana. Because yesterday I played this with headwind and I don't think I could make it over the 3 power ball in headwind, and I would want to make that shot pretty standard. And they're about 2 rings into the rough. Have to go back and see what their wind adjustment was. Let's see how it turns out. Hit it perfect. Come on. Perfect. And they're a little short. Seemed like I've been a little short on this. It's going uphill, so the ball guide might be digging in a little. This might be one of those ones you got to run it a little past it. Eagle. All right. Working on the Albie. It's a dangerous drive though. because you're expecting the right result at the end of the run, and you have zero control at the end of the run. It is on whatever trajectory it's on, and you have no control over it at that point. You can kind of make it so that your first bounce is in a safe zone, but sometimes that second bounce can get way off track. Hole number 6. Da-da-da-da. Another par 3, hole number 6. Okay, I'm taking a sniper, and we'll see what kind of wind we have to see what kind of wind adjustment I'm going to make. So as long as I got a sniper in my bag, what kind of ball am I bringing? Hole number 6, navigator, nav. Cut the wind down. We can take a turkey ball. Open up the free chest. Get it rolling. Nothing wrong with free. Now it's if I can get an opponent. They're finding an opponent. They haven't found one yet, but they're finding one. They're looking. Hello, McFly. Here, I'll pause and come back. All right, here we go. We're still playing. Maybe. Still finding an opponent. Still finding an opponent. Hello? Is anybody out there? What could we possibly talk about while we're sitting here trying to find an opponent? I just posted a video on, what's funny is that when you shoot these videos, I'm not sure if there's an expectation that if we shoot videos and we post them, they're going to be perfect. Because if that's the case, then you're probably watching the wrong channel. Because I am definitely not perfect. See what my opponent does. See if they're trying to do the rough bump as well. It's got a marlin. We got a 2.9 tailwind, so I'm going to be doing 1.3. I'm going to do a 30% wind adjustment at minimum club. That's where I'm going to start. And what I'm really focused on, more than where I end up, what I'm really focused on is where I end up in the rough. Emphasis on making sure I end up in the rough. Hit it perfect. And I like it when my opponent hits it perfect because I can go back and watch the video and see like what kind of adjustment they made. Let's do the wind. 1.9 equals, and we're divided by 1.3. 1.9 rings. Do I even have 1.9 rings that I can move out? I don't think I do. I know I don't. I don't have that much. I'm right at my red line. I'm going to have to short shoot it. And this is definitely not the way to do this shit. Hitting it perfect. Wow, that's what happens when you short shoot. Doing the little bit of overpower where you're revving up against the nubs and you're not making the needle go any faster, but you can see it shaking, so you know that you're in overpower is one thing. But when you're doing the less power, it's hard to judge. This could be a drop. I gotta make this. I gotta stay focused. All right, we need to hit it perfect. Hitting it perfect. See if we can get that sucker in the cup. In the hole! Recovered. the shot of the round right there. It's always the recovery shot that's the shot of the round. Saved you. Saved by recovery. Went in with the best of intentions, and look what happened. All right, hole number 7. What is hole number 7? Back on one of the par 4s here. All right, this is the par 4. I got the eagle here, but I made a mistake, and so I worked the reverse math and see if the real numbers can work out the same way. So I'm going to take a katana. I just want to make sure I have extra mile, katana, hornet. Should be the only things I need. And this can't be right. So I'm going to try, I want to see if it's, I want to see how far off it is. I'm going to do a 44% wind adjustment. Now, I will grant you that that was with headwind. We got crosswind here. I'm going to do on the second shot, I'm going to do a 44% wind adjustment at 1.4 per ring. So I'm at mid club. And on the drive, I'm going to put on 4 topspin. My opponent's got a little bit of overpower. That's what I'm talking about right there, where you can see it shaking. That's one of the benefits of having a grid with a curl line on it. So you can see if you're undershooting or overshooting when you do max curl shots. It's real easy to get high or low on the line. 4 topspin. 2, 3, 4. That looks like a lot. 3.5. That looks like less. Be dead center in the middle. 4, 2. Should be about 2 rings. I'm going to do a 2-ring pull. Put on all the curl. Oh, and I hit it like 7,000 rings. Great. That was like 3 solid rings great to the left, so it'll end up in the rough. It's going to roll over the edge and watch. As soon as it hits that rough, boom, boom. It's instantaneous. You hit that with any speed whatsoever, that rough will not hold you back. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody stick on the rough. The good news, the bad news is I'm in the sand. The good news is that I have a Spitfire, and a Spitfire is super accurate. Now I will grant you, if you had a Malibu, it's more accurate. Those clubs are super accurate when they get into, when they're really at close range. See if my opponent can get it in the hole. Hitting it perfect. In the hole. Nice. Nice shot. Crowd goes wild. All right, let's see where I'm at my club. Okay, there's max. There's mid. There's quarter. So I'm down into that where the rings are super tight. It's about 16 per ring. Put just a titch of backspin on it. See how much topspin I can run out. So if it's 16 per ring, a half a ring is 8. So a quarter ring is 4. I'm going to move it a quarter of a ring. See if I can hit it perfect. Hitting it perfect. See if I got my wind adjustment right. In the hole! Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Those clubs are super accurate when they get close. I was in that like 1/8 of a ring, running all that topspin out. It got me a little bit closer, so it got me down into that range where it's about 16 per ring. Nice. Recovery number 2. You gotta pick up at least one. All right, hole number 8. Hole number 8. All right, this par 3 right here. I was doing 0.9 per ring. I'm gonna do a 25% wind adjustment. Just bear with me. At 0.9 per ring. 2 backspin. I think there was a little bit of side spin on there, but I can't remember which side. It will become evident. And it's a grizzly and a katana. I have that chosen. All right, let's see if we can get something happening here. So I'm doing 0.9 per ring. So it must be a max club. And a 25% wind adjustment. I have no idea where that came from. That's just where my notes are at. I think I went back and watched the video, so I made some simple notes. Go first. Let's do the wind first. 3.3 equals divided by 0.9. It's 4.58 rings. Two backspin and some side spin. .58 rings. Right to the sand. Hitting it perfect. Let's see how close I get. Let's see how many miles away I am. In the hole! Woo! It's always crazy. Well, that's a good place to start. Let's go back and see how I arrived at that. I'll go back and rewatch the video and make sure I did the math right. My notes say to try a 25%, 2 backspin, 0.9 per ring. And I got that from watching the first video, so we'll see what I did right. See if I did all of that right or if I got it wrong. All right, what hole are we on? I am on hole number 9. All right, we can work ourselves up. What is hole number 9? Let's check it out. All right. Now, I can foresee problems with the way that I'm setting this shot up. So my goal is to get to where my second shot, I'm deep enough down into this hole with a 3 power ball. And really, in all honesty, a Kingmaker is the one to bring. If you've got a little bit of headwind, you can still work against it with a Kingmaker to get down into here and to get over on the other side. If you've got tailwind, a Titan will work better. You know, it'll still work in that situation. Where you may come into problems is if you have lower developed stuff or you don't get far enough down in this hole, you've got to be able to clear this rough area to get into this fairway right here. This is your target fairway. And the deeper you can get into that fairway, the more options you have. So you really want to get, you don't have to get all the way down in here, but you want to get quite a ways down in there. And I've been setting this shot up with a rock, so a rock puts me with a 3 power ball up here. And then I've been moving it to the left so that I can open up this area and then bringing it back around with curl. And that's fine when I'm playing against any favorable wind or wind that's even close to being side wind. But if I'm going to end up with any kind of headwind, I'm going to have to pull the shot back in order to work the wind out. It's going to throw me off in distance, and so what I'm looking for is a club. I'm going to bring my extra mile and set the shot up with my extra mile, because I can pick a spot out here that's behind the red line. And even if I get headwind, I can then move the wind out. And so I'm picking a spot out here so that I can get this shot down here at the bottom more consistent. Now you can do this with a QB up here at the top of the three with a 3 power ball, and you weren't all the way out your red line, and it's a max curl shot, and you're just bringing it down in there. But I'm gonna shoot it with my extra mile. What the heck? This tournament's sponsored by Extra Mile, the club we all loved to get. And there ain't no doubt about that. There isn't a single player out there that had anything bad to say about the Extra Mile when they got it. There was a moment of bliss, and then you started going, I wish it had more. The Extra Mile is like a lot of clubs that you buy if you're an amateur golfer. You go buy a club, and there's some of the clubs that hit really good and are pretty forgiving. If you're an amateur golfer and you're trying to buy clubs, the whole deal is it's almost like buying a scuba mask. You buy the ones that fit. It doesn't matter if it's the most expensive or the cheapest one, but you buy the ones that you can hit. So make sure whenever you buy clubs, you go to a place that has a driving range behind it. I want to pull back just a little. So let's see what kind of distance at the red line. Like about a sliver of topspin looks like it'd be enough. I'm going to pull back just a little. 2.6. It's 2.1. I don't really like being that close. I should have set that shot up so that I was a little bit more to the left so that I could have put on a little bit of curl and just brought myself around the bend. Because if you hit anything great to the right, you could end up in trouble up at the top, right there. I want to get more down into that range. I don't really want to get any closer than that. I think when I set up for the second shot, I'm going to wish I was a little closer, but I think I'm in a pretty good spot right there, even with a headwind. And I definitely want to be far enough forward so that I can pull the shot back from the red line so that once I set it up, I can actually take the wind out. I should have plenty of room. El Perfecto. My opponent should have there at 322. I'm just a little forward of them, and that's exactly where I want to be, where my red line's right there. I've got full control over where I put the ball. And if I remember correctly, it runs just a little fast here. Hey, 3.0. I'm going to do a 2.7. There's 2.5. There's 2.7. Try and hit it perfect. Hitting it perfect. Let's see if we can get that anywhere even close to the cup. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. And I took a little bit of wind off right there, and it pushed me off. You can get way down on. I think the deal there is that it's, not sure about the elevation there. I think with headwind I'll have to either just do a normal adjustment, or I'll have to take off just, or add on just a little. I can't remember what angle we had it the other day. I don't think it was a headwind. And I took a little bit of wind off and I was right there. In the hole. All right, not a bad round. I think I picked up 2. So I think I shot a 14. That should be more than good enough to get me in. If that doesn't get me in, then I have no shot of getting in. The whole goal is to get the minimum score down to the point where every single hole is an opportunity to pick up a shot. And so your whole goal is to try and find the spot that works the best for your clubs. And the whole deal is that it's not always the spot that's furthest out there. Maybe you want to lay up a little bit more so that you're in your club's better range. Somebody shot a 15? Nice. Very nice. Three 14s. They got the Albion too. Nice. We'll see how everybody turns out on it, but I see this as being one of those 15, 16 tournaments. There's a ton of holes here that we have an opportunity to pick up a shot. So just going through them really quickly, we got a great opportunity on hole number 1. The deal here is this is one of those types of holes, exactly what I was just talking about a minute ago, where you're taking this with your short iron. And so you want to either be where you're at your max club, your mid club, or your min club. And what blows is when you're in between those, because you could be doing everything right and you're trying to chase it, but you're using the wrong number, so the numbers are skewed. So maybe instead of trying to get out to this spot, you get to this spot, and now you're in pure mid. So learning how to hit a little bit short or a little bit longer, just trying to pick up that little bit of distance to get into a pure part of your club. But we got a great opportunity to pick a shot up. And we have another great opportunity here. I got to go back and watch this video to see where I ended up. I still played a sniper, and I did a second bounce rough bump, which is not my normal cup of tea, but this particular hole at least lends itself to it if you're trying to go for the cup. I did have a couple missteps out here today, but I was able to recover. This hole right here, I think we have a great shot at hole 1. And this shot right here, it's all about what's happening. Like if the wind is blowing, if we have any kind of favorable wind, if we draw the line in this area, so with a 3 power ball and any kind of favorable wind, you can get your red line up into this area with an EM9. So with an 8, it's going to be back just a little, and with a 6 and a 7, you're probably out into this range. And it's not too bad to be out here if you've got some kind of tailwind with a 3 power ball, because what it's doing is it's pushing you into this area, and this area is pretty wide. This area up here is much narrower. So I think in the video I used a 4 power ball, and we were going against a headwind, and even with the headwind it was way up in here, and I ended up in the sand. Like my first bounce was like right here in the sand. So the wind didn't push me off as far as I thought it was going to. But this is definitely a better area, so let's hope for some kind of tailwind, or even a side headwind won't hurt us as much as the due headwind that we got today. That blew. because that puts you almost in between balls. You need like a 3.5 power ball. All right, that was enough of that one. I like our chances on that hole, and it really, a lot of it is wind, but we have a great opportunity to pick a shot up. This is another hole. I think from out in this area right here, this rough bump is pretty superior. I know I have taken this shot out here a ton of times, especially in one-on-one where I bring out a marlin ball and you're way the hell back, and it's still easy to get an eagle here. But you got a serious opportunity at Albie from over here. And my opponent did it with a katana, and I did it with, I think, a 4-power ball. So you get 2 different looks at it. Great opportunity on that hole. This is another good opportunity, and I got to go back and watch the video on this too about this wind adjustment down here, because this is definitely a scary, to me, for my game, this is a scary asshole, because this type of rough bump, and we're at minimum club. So I think I failed here, and I ended up, and I think I might have recovered, but I ended up in the sand because I had the short shoot, because I am like right at minimum club. And I was using a, what hole is this? Could actually help myself out there a little bit. This is hole number 6, and I was using a nav, so a 0-power ball would be better. But a 0-power low wind ball, and I don't think I have any of those. Let me make a note. Hole number 6. 0 power. That would work better, because that would pull the red line back so that the red line would be more down in this area. And I'd still be at minimum club, but it would give me enough breathing room to be able to work out any kind of wind. And there's not really much I can do about that as far as the sniper goes, because anything that's got that kind of ball guide hits farther. It doesn't really help me. I think, well, at minimum club, it's not going to help me anyways unless I brought out a Goliath. And I suppose if you had an upper developed Goliath that's got some ball guide, that's probably not a bad choice. And I know that there's a lot of people that play with a Goliath. I've never really played with a Goliath, because I have a hard time with that transition between long iron and wood. There is no transition when you use a Goliath. I mean, you're instantaneously in the wood, and you're instantaneously in the long iron. And I'm used to being able to pull against the red line, and it jacks me up. But this is a great opportunity for hole 1. Hole number 7. Another great opportunity for eagle. Now this hole right here, I think we do have opportunities for hole 1, but this will end up being one of those holes that it'll be where once you figure something out, you can just start sinking them and they'll just drop. But I think we have a great opportunity on this hole as well. And we do have a great Albie opportunity. So there's a lot of opportunities to pick up shots here. I think if you're looking at like the minimum of -12, and there are some shots here that I think we have to make, but I don't necessarily think there's any gimmies. The minimum score at -12, you're going to have to pick up at least 3 per side. That puts you at 30. And then I think and most, especially in the tier 3 brackets, at least with what I've seen, you got to start from there. This could be a wild ass tournament, because there are so many opportunities to pick shots up. All right. That was the qualifying round in Maple Bay. I'll go back and watch the videos and try and tighten my notes up and see if I can actually qualify. The problem with the opening round is it's during the middle. It's that part of the week, and I can play weekend rounds, but getting enough time to play an opening round is always difficult. All right. Thanks for watching.